No, it's me.
No? Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
You have the floor.
Surprise! Okay, so with the transfer requests and finalizing our inspections on the commercial accounts, one of the things that we did is open up the ability for people to transfer and accommodate those needs for ER transfers. So through multiple meetings, I've met with Chris and Bart and Chris's brother, and we moved a couple of ERs from some different places. We had a straggler up by Chris's house. We needed to accommodate for his sister's parcels as well. We've moved some there. And then we've allotted for a couple extras down at the Bitter End Marina, and then ultimately leaving the ERs up. I'll
This
show
is
you.
still the same as you and I have discussed, so you're just describing some
Yep.
for knowledge, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, nothing has changed there. So,
And these are all bought and paid for ER.
yep, paid for, no more were given out, none were taken. Just simply moving them and transferring them around to accommodate the development.
And this is
place.
also us going to the, you have all these ERs,
Yeah.
we need you to put them.
Yeah,
somewhere.
counting and reassessing and making sure that they're being billed for all their ERs that they're using. So we're on track there. And then, so the transfers were already, the forms and everything were already made and approved. Sean and I went over them and reviewed them. The thing I'm putting in front of you guys today, which you saw in your emails, are basically the written out dialogue of what we did there. And Bart, do you want to elaborate on like what your purpose and intent here is?
Yeah, well,
Agreements, 'cause
I think
know
you said it really well, that
Yeah.
it's just a written dialogue of the transfers that culminated with all existing uses properly accounted for in terms of ER allocation. And south of Cape Horn Road, there's two, the Hansens would like to reserve two of their ERs. They haven't been allocated, and this agreement is basically just solidifying approval to allocate those ERs within their properties, existing property below Cape Horn Road. Similarly, north of Cape Horn Road, we ended up with 16 ERs allocated north of Cape Horn Road, and there's a separate agreement that addresses that basically allows the Hansens to allocate those ERs across their parcels. They haven't made a decision as to how to allocate them yet.
Yeah.
So right now, I believe the parcel that's immediately above, the remnant parcel above Baywatch Estates has 13 ERs on it. But there's also two other parcels to the east that only have one and two ERs, and there's probably a more logical distribution of ERs. And rather than try to identify that through this ER transfer, we propose to just put these two agreements on the table that gave them the leeway to allocate them as may be approved by current land use code.
Is that primarily, does that cover the amount of ERs that the Hansens have?
Yes. These
No.
fall directly in line. They have respect to the Bitter End parcel down below and how many we've allotted to their parcel and how many has always been allotted with ER transfers in respect.
So this is a culmination of their,
Yeah,
Shoring up.
directly in line with our books and our ER
The straggling
original allocations.
ER, shoring up the straggling
And
ERs.
Yes.
do we have a way to memorialize that? As in, we don't have a great record of keeping things for 20 and 30 and 40 years.
Yes.
Do we file it with the county?
No, we do not file anything with the county, but what I've done is what I call our ER Bible back there, which is the original document. It's been put into an ER format, so I have 2 sheets on that. And so I have the original untouched version, and then the second sheet documents, and has all the notes that says we transferred on this date to this LID number for this reason. So we've documented all those things, so.
And is that more than just in a paper book that could burn up or disappear?
Yeah, that's on an Excel
We got it.
spreadsheet on the
Probably
computer.
maybe stored off-site.
Yes, and then ultimately, this Excel spreadsheet, when we get things finalized, are going to be incorporated into our ER GIS that we've talked about on and off with Innovate. So all this information documented then can be incorporated to our GIS online system, which is 2 maps that overlay each other. What existed in 1993, and then it will update with existing property lines and to our current day values. It'll interface with our billing software eventually, and it's a pretty,
And with the external
Yeah.
hard drive.
And our sub, mechanical, plumbing is in ability to handle these changes.
absolutely, yes. Which was one thing that we always kept in mind, and I always brought up to the board, is that although you guys were willing to allow for transfers to accommodate, one thing that we knew we wouldn't be able to do is transfer from different sides
Yeah.
of the bay. You know, the infrastructure is built, and so as we're, this one, the infrastructure used along here is the same to serve for here as it is for here coming off of our main line. So transferring 1 or 2 ERs from this use up to this use is well within our system infrastructure design.
So getting back to where we're saving this, is any of this historical data saved off-site?
Yes,
Including hard drives.
we have a backup terabyte hard drive that we put things onto on a regular
Yeah,
basis.
but where's the hard drive live?
It goes with me. That was one thing that Rich Stoney, when I very first started,
Any
incorporated
thought to using, there's all sorts of web services for the cloud, where
cloud services.
you can just back your hard drive up in the cloud and it stays out there. If the building
Certainly
burns
something
down,
that we could look to.
if the building burns down, we still have our history.
Yeah,
That's been a historical problem,
yeah, absolutely.
I want
That's
because
something
these
that we-
ERs have value.
Yes.
I wanna talk
Important
about
value.
that more when I get closer with getting our library up to speed and the documents that we're supposed to have here for our community. Cause yes, I agree exactly with what you're saying, we need to have this stuff backed up, especially if the place burned, you got into an accident, such and such.
Yeah,
It's
there's
important,
kind
and we're not.
There's
Maybe
kind of
she
3
got-
different places. I have all the files on this laptop, there's the one
Or
on
she
that
never hit
one,
any
and then
cloud.
there's a regular backup to a portable external hard drive that we have that does leave.
It's just the cloud services become so cheap that
I agree.
it's silly not to back up there.
We can certainly
If
look
can.
into that. I think
And
that
there's
would
good
be
ones
good.
that basically do it for a modest $200.
Okay,
Make you feel like you're number one and you always have your information
Oh,
there.
it makes it feel like you're putting in the safe deposit box off.
Yeah.
Which is what we want.
Kind of like that filing service used to do, you know, you get the iron, whatever it was, and they'd ship them off to their warehouse for storage. I mean, that was before cloud.
I still have some
But
of
then,
that.
I know, but they've changed a little bit, you know, they've kind
Anchor
of evolved
boxes.
into the cloud systems because maybe they had some of their warehouses broken down.
And Microsoft has an excellent program. We're storing on the cloud, doing business between each other. Who has access to what, who doesn't have access, so you can do a lot of stuff from home as a board member. I recommend
So-
looking at it, but once you get to that point.
back to the agreements. They are both written the same, and in the scan, I just outlined the property descriptions, so they're specific to what properties they pertain to. But they are directly in line with what our office files contain as well, just kind of a lengthier version of what.
Has them have
Our
the proper
spreadsheets.
legal signatures to be attached,
Descriptions, yes.
but the legal signatures too. I mean, we want to make sure that people who have ownership in those lots are the ones signing it.
Yeah, they haven't signed, but yeah, it is.
I mean, eventually they'll, we know who owns what.
Yes.
And this will apply to, you know, you could see all sorts of people want to trade around at some point.
Yeah, this was a one-time thing that we were doing, which is why we had such extensive meetings and thought about the
But
future.
this is breaking ground for the future, so.
Yeah, it is, I agree. But the intended purpose at the beginning was that, but I absolutely agree with what you're saying.
You have to have the property to move it to, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's the,
There's a lot of things involved, and it's not gonna be a fast I don't think we're gonna explode around
It'd be
here.
hard to abuse, like you say, and.
yeah, it's, this is an unusual situation, because he has a lot of property.
And there's only so many ERs. right?
Correct.
Correct, and no more being given.
But there's still a lot
Bought and
unused.
paid for originally.
There's still a lot unused, I mean, 300 unused, basically,
Yeah, about.
so.
I have-
With
I have two.
customers throughout the district, to make it be clear, that's not the Hansen.
And they're all accounted for.
Yes. So, yeah, let's place
So-
these in front of the board for approval so that,
Is that what we need to do is then
Yeah.
approve this?
yeah, we would like to get those signed. The transfer forms are being signed. After that,
Cause we already approved this, didn't we?
the transfers have already been